listening, highlight incorrect words, guided practice. Let's begin the session. So this highlight incorrect words, in many ways, this is similar to the fill in the blanks question type in listening. In both these question types, you listen to an audio and you see a transcript corresponding to that audio on the screen at the same time. In the fill in the blanks, you're supposed to find the words from the audio that fit into those blanks and then type them in. In highlight incorrect words, you're supposed to pick the words that are different from what you hear in the audio. So at a fundamental level, the skill that is tested is basically the same. Your ability to read and listen and understand at the same time. The way you go about this question type is, again, there are a few seconds before the audio begins. In those few seconds, you can skim through this particular text. The text that's given to you, it sort of makes you familiar with what you are going to listen in the audio, because always when you listen to something the second time, you are able to understand better, isn't it? And reading it beforehand is almost like listening it twice. So, because it also gives you an idea of what you're going to hear. So then you can hear it better, and you can, if there are any difficult words, and if you have looked at the transcript, then it'll be easier for you to recognize those difficult words when you hear them. Also, when you are skimming through the transcripts, it's possible that you might already identify some incorrect words. So that can be an added bonus. And then before the audio begins, just make sure your cursor is in the beginning, as in here, the way I have it. And when the audio starts playing, you keep moving your cursor as you read the transcript. And as soon as you hear a word which is different, for example, it's changing here, but let's say in the audio you hear charging, then this word is incorrect. So you will click on it and you will highlight it. So that's what you have to do. All right. In the end, for fill in the blanks, I had a step for you that in the end you must review before you submit. But here I'll say that there's no need to review. Just move on. But however, if you think you have clicked on any word by mistake, then of course, you can click again and you can remove the highlight. Otherwise, if you have picked a word, clicked on it, then just move on. Let's try the first question now.
This moment, as it turns out, is not about changing minds. It is about something more powerful. It is about changing the questions we ask and quieting the noise to hear each other's answers. It is about the radical possibility that we, the patients, we, the physicians, we, the caregivers, we, the healthcare executives, and yes, even we, the people, that we agree.
The answers to these 4 words, they are different from the ones in the audio, and that's why we consider them incorrect here. Let's go to the next question now.
It's important for us to cultivate hope. Whistleblowers are hopeful. Despite popular belief, they're not all disgruntled employees that have a beef with the company. Their hopefulness really is what drives them to come forward. We also have to cultivate commitment. Whistleblowers are committed, and it's that passion to that organization that makes them want to come forward. Whistleblowers are humble. Again, they're not seeking fame, but they are seeking fairness. And we need to continue to cultivate bravery.
The answers. Again, the method is very simple. You just keep reading, and as soon as you find something that's different from what you're hearing, you click on it. Now, one important point to keep in mind, highlight incorrect words, this question type has negative marking. So if you think I'll just randomly, every second word I'll click on, and then of course I will capture all the incorrect words. But if you do that, you pick too many random words, then you will end up getting a negative score. The minimum cannot go below 0. But rather than just click randomly, it's better to click on the words where you are sure that they're different from the audio. So you at least get some points, if not the full marks. The other thing that I want to tell is that in the fill in the blanks, there were 2 ways to do that. Either you type directly or you first take notes and then at the end you come back and type. In this question, taking notes, or there's nothing to do in the rough notepad. Whatever you do, you have to do it directly using your mouse, your cursor at the same time as you are listening and reading the transcript. Okay? So don't complicate it by trying to write down something that I'll first note down which word, because then later on you not only have to remember which the words were, but also what their position was. Were they in the first line? Were they in the third line? Was that word in that fifth line? Okay, and all of that becomes confusing. So in this question, do it directly on the screen. The next question now.
And again, it's not just kids. This is the violent video games question, but it's on a completely new level because of this visceral physicality that we respond more intensely to than to images on a screen. When we behave violently towards robots, specifically robots that are designed to mimic life, is that a healthy outlet for violent behavior? Or is that training our cruelty muscles?
Here are the answers. In this question type also, I'll remind you that if you come across any words, because you're reading transcript, you're listening to audio, so if you come across any words which are new to you, which you find difficult, any words whose meaning you're not sure of, then as we said earlier, you should maintain a running list of such words. So in a notepad, note down that word. Later on, after the test, after the practice test, check out the meaning of that word, write down a couple of examples, go to internet and find out how to pronounce that word properly, right? And then the list that you have a look at it once a week. Okay, this is a great way of building up your vocabulary and increasing the number of words that you know, which will have a big impact on how well you do in these questions. The last question in this practice session.
Our studies suggest that having a bit of one antibody won't be enough. It might take high concentrations of antibodies against multiple parasite proteins. We're also learning that antibodies kill the parasite in multiple ways, and studying any one of these in isolation may not adequately reflect reality. Just like we can now see the parasite in greater definition, my team and I are focused on understanding how our bodies overcome this complexity. We believe that this could provide the breakthroughs that we need to make malaria history.
Here are the answers. I hope you were able to answer all of them correctly. Now, after this guided practice session, you must also find some time to practice in the test software by yourself and make sure that you analyze your sample responses. Try to learn with something with each test that you take.